Hi, Cohort B. I'm here to explain how to do your worksheet for your at-home learning assignment today. Last week, you should have read about isotopes and electron energy levels or shells in your chapter reading. This week, you're going to be going a little bit deeper into those isotope and electron shells. So for the first part of today's lesson, you're going to click this link here to bring you to a YouTube video about isotopes. You'll answer the questions that follow. If you come across a question that has a underline like question number 2 has, you'll fill in the blank based on the video. Each of these questions is in order of how they appear in the video, so if you miss one, you can always pause it and go back and rewatch parts of the video. You don't need to write your answers in complete sentences so long as you have enough information to get your answer across. For part 2, you're going to be looking at element energy levels and how electrons live inside each of those levels. So last week you learned that electrons of each atom live in an energy level. There are 7 energy levels. However, we most frequently discuss the first 4 energy levels. Each energy level has a maximum number of electrons it can hold, and that maximum number is displayed in the chart below. In the left column, we have the energy level or the shell for the first 4. And on the right, we have the maximum amount of electrons that can be held in each of those levels. So energy level 1 can have 2 electrons, energy level 2 can have 8 electrons, energy level 3 can have 18, 4 can have 32, and so on. Each of those energy levels must be completely full with their maximum amount of electrons before the next shell starts to be filled up. So if we look at this diagram here, the blue dot in the middle represents our nucleus, where our protons and our neutrons live. And around here we have our shell. So this is our first shell, which means that this shell here must be completely full first before electrons come to our second shell, which must be then completely filled before the electrons go to the third shell, and so on. So what you'll be doing for this assignment is you'll look at this periodic table block on the left here to determine the information for each of the element written above. You're going to assume that we're only looking at one isotope, and we're only going to look at the one where our protons and neutrons match the atomic number. So we have an equal number of protons as we do neutrons. Remember, our number of protons also tells us how many electrons we have. So for this example here, for oxygen, our atomic number is 8, which means we have 8 protons. Since we're assuming we're having an equal number of protons and neutrons, we also have 8 neutrons. And since our electrons equals our number of protons, we have 8 electrons. Now here we're going to think about how each of those electrons fit into their energy levels. We're going to use this chart here to determine that. So if we have 8 total electrons, that means that our first energy shell is completely full because we have more than 2 electrons. So for our electrons in each energy level, for our first, we're going to write 2. After we've taken away 2 of our electrons or used them up, we have 6 remaining. And according to this chart, our energy level 2 can hold 8, which means all 6 of our remaining electrons can fit in energy level 2. Since 6 plus 2 equals 8, we no longer have any more electrons to be placed. So our third energy shell has 0 electrons, and our fourth also has 0. Just a note about valence electrons. If you remember, those valence electrons are the electrons in the outermost energy shell for that element. So for this, our valence electrons, we have 6 valence electrons. Remember, the amount of valence electrons will tell us about its characteristics. So all elements with 6 valence electrons have similar characteristics. Furthermore, if our outermost energy shell is not completely full, then our element is not stable, it's radioactive. You don't need to do anything with that information, I just wanted to remind you. If you have any questions, send me an email and I'll try to respond as quickly as I can. Good luck, everyone. Bye-bye.